All right, folks, let me know if you can hear me, please. We'll get started in a minute. Let me know if you can hear me. Somebody, anybody. Okay. Messy. All right, let's get started, folks. Welcome to the API report, 10-minute trades trade room. My name is Lee Goldstein, trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember, all trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Also, if you're watching a live stream of a trade, please keep in mind the trade could be slightly delayed. Slightly delayed. All right. So we're trading the API report. The API report is what I call a blind report, in the sense that we will not get a news result during the report. We will be done trading most probably by the time we know what the API results are. That's just the way that it goes. The API report is a subscription-only report for the first 5 minutes. People can pay the American Petroleum Institute money to get the results earlier than the public. The public gets the results in theory at 4:35 p.m. Eastern time, and when you pay for the report, you get the results at 4:30 Eastern time. We have found that the report is tradable at 4:30. So there must be enough people buying this report, or volume and liquidity is low, so that it moves the market on this report. But this report does move the market. It does come out every week. And it's been a well-behaved report for a very long time. So we're going to get ready to trade it. We trade it as a range trade also. It's slightly different than the normal way that we trade it, which is interesting. It just shows off the software. So I'll show you what I mean when I say a range trade. So we create a range, a time-based range, and if the range gets broken, then it enters us into the trade. And I'll show you what I mean by showing you a previous trade, okay? So let's look at last week. Let's look at last week. So let's see, last week would have been 12/15-ish, 7 days ago. And 12/15 it is. So what's going to happen is our software creates this range, okay? The range that has the candle in it is the actual range. The line above that is the order that we're going to place if the range were to hold. What generates this top line is how many ticks above and below the range we are going to enter the trade. And we use 3 ticks above and below the range to enter the trade. That's how we do it. We start our time-based range at 4:29 and 58 seconds. We enter we put our orders on the chart 4 seconds later at 16:30:02, and then we wait. We almost always get filled, and then we'll see how it goes. We use a target of anywhere between 10 and 29 ticks, and we use a stop of 13 ticks. Right now we're trading one contract. Next year we'll up it. But we've only got 2 trades left in this year. So we'll just trade normally the way we've been trading till the year is up. And I can't believe it's going to be a whole new year already. Hard to believe. Let's look at the previous DMM, even though there is no DMM today. There's no DMMs for this week and next week. We have a tradition here at 10-minute trades that the boss takes 2 weeks off. He generates the DMMs. So that doesn't mean we're still going to have a couple of trade rooms. If I feel that a trade has the possibility to give us some money, I'll have a trade room. Now, there's a change to the schedule tomorrow, but I don't think it's that worth it because the trade hasn't been working that great. They're doing Thursday jobless claims and core durable goods tomorrow at 8:30 instead of Thursday because it's Christmas Eve day. So they're not having, they've moved pretty much all the reports have been moved off of Christmas Eve day. Which is not surprising, really. No one's going to trade Thursday. I mean, there's always a few lunatics that are out there trading, but it's not going to be a busy trading day, that's for sure. Right? So the last DMM for this trade was the 15th of December. And the DMM tells you exactly how to trade the report. Put it this way, shows you exactly how I'm going to trade it. I'm going to set up a range, 16:29:58 Eastern Time. My range is going to end 4 seconds later, 16:30:02. And I'm going to trade one target. I'm going to put a target, probably a 24 ticks in with a stop of 13. And then depending how the behavior is, I'll decide what to do about profits or losses. So let's look at a couple of trades. You could see the range. I was showing you the range. So here's last week's trade. That's the range. The 3 ticks above, you can see the price bursts downward. Now, last week was a really aggravating situation. I've talked about this over and over and over, how the broker AMP has strict rules about the way that they trade and let you trade gold. I mean oil. I'm reading something, so I'm sorry. They will not let you trade the current contract if it's 5 days prior to the rollover. They won't tell anybody why. Nobody knows why. I think I know why, but it's just a theory. So I don't want to make up anything. I think when oil went negative, something happened and a lot of money got lost somewhere along the line there. And ever since that happened, they actually wouldn't let you even trade oil for a couple of weeks. And then when they finally did let you start trading oil, the margins were ridiculous. And then they started with this absurd rule I'm sorry, they wouldn't. I was listening to news. They wouldn't let you trade oil for about 2 weeks. Then they let you trade oil with high margins, and then they let you trade oil with this crazy rule that if it's 5 days before the rollover of the next contract, you have to trade the forward contract. Last week, it was lousier liquidity. Um, and I believe the broker making us trade the contract I didn't want to trade cost me a couple of ticks in profit. That's the truth. I would have rather have traded the contract with much higher volume, and I could not do that last week because the broker wouldn't let me because of some wackadoodle rule about how you can't trade the current contract if you're too close to rollover. So, anytime a broker does something that doesn't make sense, or somebody who, generally takes your money as a rule anyway, does something that doesn't make sense, they're doing what they're doing to make sure that you don't get money from them. I mean, that's how it works. They're not your friend. Brokers are not your friends. All right? Your broker is not your pal. They may act like it, but they're not. And actually, these days, they don't even act like it. So just keep in mind, you're your own pal, right? You are your own pal. So last week was a very nice trade. Let's look at the week before. Even with the broker making me trade a contract I didn't want to trade, you could still make money. December 8th. There's the range, shows up on the chart. Looks like the week before. It looks like the same trade, doesn't it? It behaved very similar. So the idea is to try to be patient in this trade. Every now and then, if you're patient, it will grab your stop and you'll make less money by being patient. But more often than not, we have discovered that if you are patient, you should be able to make a little more money rather than less. That's what we've discovered with this particular trade. Okay. So I'll try to be patient. Everybody who knows me really well knows that patience is the most difficult trading. Um, it's my most difficult trading quality. I'm terribly impatient, and that's my nature. So I have to struggle to make myself patient. Sometimes you want to be patient. So it was a winner. No, you know what? That week I wound up getting out flat because I was patient. That week it reversed and hit my stop. And that was an interesting week. If you were patient, but you moved your stop to protect your profit, um, you could have gotten out flat. If you moved your stop further, you could have gotten out with 6 or 7 ticks. If you didn't move your stop at all, on December 8th, you would have gotten stopped out of the trade because after it stopped going down before 5 o'clock, which is the closing time for CL, it went all the way up and stopped us out. So every result could have happened on one trade, which was really unusual. Usually, if you move your stop, it goes one way. Usually, if you don't move your stop, it goes another way. This particular trade did all the possibilities. It was really unusual. Let's look at December 1st. Here comes the range. Ah, you know what I did December 1st is I traded it as a breakout trade because I forgot to turn on the range and it still worked very nicely. We know for a fact that this trade works as a breakout and a range. You can do both. I like the range better. Seems to just give you a little more profit. But years ago, we only used to trade this as a breakout trade. Years ago, it was a breakout only. But lots of trades change. That's part of the attraction of doing this. It's challenging. So let's see. We made $90 that week because we were down some money before the trade, and I can see that I made 9 ticks when the trade was over. Let's look at the last week in November. Last week in November, before the trade, we were up $62. Then the trade came along. There's the range. Usually the trade doesn't last that long. I've seen a couple of API trades that we've stayed in for 10 minutes. So you can see it can be tricky whether you want to move your stop or move your target. So that one made 120 because remember, we were up 62.50 before the trade, up 180 after the trade. So that made 120. 120 is a magic number for this trade. Let me set the trade up. So the way we've been trading it is the way I'm going to trade it today. 3 ticks above the range, 3 ticks below the range. Graphic shown on chart gets checked. I like my range to be magenta. The range line thickness is just how thick the lines are. I like to make it a 3. And then I'm just going to trade one target, one contract, a profit of 24 ticks. My stop is 13 ticks. My range start time is 16:29:58 Eastern time. So that's 4:29:58. Not 6, 16. 4:29:58 Eastern time. One target, 24 tick profit, 13 tick stop. Entry time, 16:30:02. So 4-second range. And then the other day, what I forgot to do is change the trade type from a breakout to a range. So what happened is it entered at the right time, 16:30:02, but it traded with a bracket of 5 because that's the default bracket setting. So one more time, let me trade for real, the real account. I'm going to label the trade CL API, okay? You don't have to adjust anything else. So we got a range trade that we're trading. 3 ticks above the range, 3 ticks below the range. Graphic shown on chart, you check that so you actually see the physical range get drawn. That's what that does. If that's not checked, you'll still have a range trade, but you won't see the range, okay? The color of the range box is magenta. You can make that color any color you want. Obviously, you want to make it a color that you can see on your charts, right? If your chart's a magenta, don't make it magenta, right? Range line thickness is the thickness of the line, right? What do I mean by that? Yeah, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is that line, those lines. Those are the lines I'm making a little bit thicker just so I could see them better. That's all. You don't have to. That's range line thickness. Range start time 16:29:58, 4:29:58. One position for 24 ticks, 13 tick stop. Entry time 16:30:02. Sometimes Financial Juice gets the information from the API report, which is pretty cool. So it is a range trade, and we are set to trade. And our first trade this morning got canceled. Our second trade would have worked. It definitely would have worked. It just was a little bit unexpected that CB Consumer and the housing report was trading together, and neither of them has been doing well. So I passed on it, and it was a good trade. It moved nicely, and that'll happen sometimes. You'll pass on a trade that you aren't dying to trade because its behavior hasn't been that great. So we've got about 9 minutes before the trade. Like I said, next year we'll probably up our contracts on this trade. Anybody have any questions before the trade? Anybody have any questions? Who's joining me on this trade? Anybody joining me? Chantal, I can't see anything on YouTube. If there's any questions, would you forward them to me? Fred, you always trade it. KT, okay. KT, you're pretty new, so you should be trading in sim. That makes sense. That's what you want to do. Practice, right? Practice makes good, makes you a good trader. Wow, I've been just looking and reading about all the boxes that the post office can't seem to deliver. That's what happens when you destroy the post office. So hopefully the post office will be fixed next year. You cannot blame the people that work there. They work like dogs. Time to switch brokers. What do you mean? You can't switch brokers so easily when you're using NinjaTrader. Either you use NinjaTrader or you were grandfathered in. In other words, if you're a brand new customer, you have to use NinjaTrader. Oh, from YouTube. Um, no, it's not so easy to change brokers with futures. there's not that many brokers left, really, if you think about it. But you have to be able to use the NinjaTrader platform. Let's check our time, make sure we're in sync. So we'll check our time by going to the website, time.is. And my time is exact. So if you're watching us on YouTube, why not give us a like? Why not click the notification bell? And why not subscribe to our channel? So the previous API was 1.973 million. According to the Financial Juice Pro. FinancialJuiceCom.pro. No, FinancialJuicePro.com. Wouldn't it be crazy if you had to speak in .com language, like everything was .com, like how you doing .com, like what's your name .com? No, it doesn't make any sense. Forget it. It doesn't make any sense. How you doing .org? I used to like it a lot better when there were no .nets, .orgs. I want to pass a law to just have .coms. No orgs. No nets. No COs. It made things too confusing. I want to go back to simpler days. Let's trade with an abacus. Is anybody out there? Anyone else trading? Fred's trading. Is Mark gone, Chantal? I haven't seen Mark. Where'd he go? Did he go away for the holiday? Different Mark. There's a different Mark in here. So Mark, not Mark R. A different Mark. So we're trading CL221. You don't really have to do much on this trade. Not a lot to do. It'd be real sweet if it hits our target. But look, we can get stopped out too. So, you know, anything can happen. There's no guarantee you can make money on a trade just because you take it live. This is our last trade of the day. And then tomorrow, we'll have crude at 10. We probably should get to the trade room a few minutes early tomorrow to watch new home sales. And then natural gas is trading at noon tomorrow. It's really weird. It's pretty strange. Crude's pretty negative today, down $1.08. But usually this report has a response regardless of what oil did during the day. It's like the Wednesday report. So a couple of people are trading with me. I'm not sure if Brian's trading or not. Fred's trading. KT is new. He's trading in Sim, which is advisable to practice in Sim for weeks. You want to practice for weeks. Brian, why not? How come? So it'll create our range, starting at 1629.58. And it'll draw the range for 4 seconds. All right. That's normally what happens. There's my range. There's my target. Okay. Now, if it reverses and stops me out, I'm going to lose money. Because the rule of thumb on this trade is if it bursts, you're supposed to stay in. And it burst. Okay. It burst down. It doesn't mean it's going to work. There's no guarantee I'm not going to lose $130. Okay. I can't guarantee that this trade will work. It moved 10 ticks. I think it might be better and more profitable to trade 2.7 million on the build. It should go down, okay? It should go down and give us a profit. It should go down and give us a profit. It's 2.7 million build. They were expecting 1.9. Okay. I don't think it's going to give us 24 ticks and make a new low. Trying to be patient, folks. I'm trying to be patient. Right now, it's 2 ticks in my favor. You can't count that burst. That burst, the burst would not have worked. It just wouldn't, unless you were trading multiple contracts. If you were trading multiple contracts, you might have gotten a target of 7. It's possible. And that's why I think in January, we should change the way that we trade this and go for multiple targets. I think it's better. I think it'll work better. I know it will. I know it will. So usually it would give us a better response than this. I'm betting that Fred took a couple of ticks. So it's an unexpected build. Is it going to pick off my trade? The price should go down. It really should go down. It billed 2.7, but it's not. Okay, it's not going down. So do I want to just get out, make a tiny profit, and wait for next week? Probably. That's what I'm going to do. It's just not moving. Just fill me. It's not really moving. So we made 3 ticks. Now let's see if you stay in, if it would have made a fortune, right? There's 4. Was I impatient? Was I impatient? Maybe. Maybe. Let's see what happens. There's my target. Okay, there's my profit. 3 ticks. 3 ticks. KT, my entry was 46.81 on the short side. 46.81. What was yours? 80. Okay. Fred, how many did you grab? Fred, you're trading multiple contracts, I believe, but I won't do that until January. I'll do it in January. So we made 3 ticks. Yeah, I'm not surprised it hit the first target with no fill, Fred. Look at it's all wick. It's all wick. I would use a target of 7, Fred. I would use a target of 7. So now I'm not necessarily sorry I took my little profit. It does not want to go down, okay? It's not wanting to drive itself down. So keep in mind that our stop is 94. The stop is 94. 13 ticks. 13 ticks above my entry, okay? That's my stop, 94. So I'm not stopped out yet. I'm not stopped out yet. I'm going to watch it for a couple of minutes. I didn't lose money. It's all right. You know, we got a couple of trades tomorrow. Got a couple of trades tomorrow. Look, there's nothing you can do if the trade doesn't keep going in your direction. That's not anybody's fault. It might still go down. It's possible. The news was in our favor, and it really just did not keep continuing. It didn't keep continuing. So, you know, you have the right to take your profit whenever you want. I like to make $100 on this trade at least. But today it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And now, if you notice, your squeeze signals are working against you. They changed color and momentum to the upside. Okay? Squeeze signals change color and momentum to the upside. KT, I've done so much back testing because you could practice the breakout trade. The problem, KT, is Ninja Trader 8 has some serious back testing bugs. You got to do your back testing in Ninja Trader 7. I don't know. Do you know Ninja Trader 7? Use Ninja Trader 7 for your replay. They have not fixed the problems in Ninja Trader 8 yet. I can't believe it, but they haven't fixed the problems. Me too, KT. Me too. The only thing I do on a Ninja Trader 7 is backtest because it saves me time because it works. What happens? The first problem with Ninja Trader 8 is if you like, let's backtest this trade, KT. You want me to show you what I'm talking about? So let me put myself in. Let me just take a quick little baby picture of the 30 bucks. And I'm not going to cry in a corner because I only made $30. It doesn't even bother me. Last week we made 80, so we made over 100 in the last 2 trades. Trade multiple contracts and you have hundreds of dollars. It's not the end of the world. So if you want to back test, you got to go to historical data, right? Historical data, market replay, load, get market replay, today's contract, CL221, and today's date, 12/22. Okay? Download it. Now you disconnect live. Okay? and connect replay, playback connection. Put today's date in, 12/22. Right click in this blank space, go to, when it appears. Go to, it's 12/22. We got to put the time of the trade, right? 4/29. And let's say 54 seconds PM, okay? So NinjaTrader goes to the right time, right? KT, I was doing this to show you. Yes, it is easier to download an NT8, for real. So when I try to put the trade in, it won't let me. First of all, sometimes when I immediately try to play back, it sets the time to noon. See? So I have to redo the time. Go to, put the time back in, 4:59, and that's a bug in NinjaTrader. 54 PM. Okay? And now it'll go there again, which it never used to even go to the right time. Now, if I try to put the trade in, watch what it does. So I put the exact trade in that we just traded. 3 ticks above the range, 16/29/58. One target, 24 ticks. I'm going to replay my exact trade. Stop at 13. It's a range trade. 16:30:02 is my entry time, but NinjaTrader will not allow you to use time properly from any strategy. It's not our strategy, it's any strategy. So I put the trade in. Ironically, right now, watch what happens when I enable it. It'll probably trigger it. No? All right. It's drawing the range too soon. So it's already not working properly. It should not be drawing the range. No, I chose range trade. NinjaTrader 8 just does not work. See? Range trade. It does not work for backtesting. It's defective. So it's already putting the range on, but I don't want the range until 16. Oh, I screwed up. Hold on. My time's wrong. My mistake. 4:29:54. Okay. So wait, maybe it's going to work today. So no, it should not be showing the range. It's still showing the range when it should not be. The range should not start drawing until 58 and it's 54. So it's not really drawing the right range. Okay, it's not the right range. Keep in mind that you have no, it's definitely not quite the same trade. It doesn't look the same. You don't have slippage normally in replay, okay? But so now I'm not going to wait 10 minutes. It just does not work properly. It should not have put the range on until I got to 16:29:58, and it was putting the range on 4 seconds early. All right. So I've been talking to them. They know it's full of bugs. And they can't seem to get it fixed. I don't know why. I really don't know why. So if you look at where price went, it still did not, it almost stopped us out. 94, we said, remember? So it's still not a stop out. It would be slightly profitable now. The market closes at 5 o'clock. Okay. If somebody wants to watch, I'm getting out of here. I made 3 ticks. A couple of people made a little bit more. Watch and see where the price winds up at 5 o'clock. That'll tell you what your profit would be. Okay. And I'll see everybody tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow, I'm going to get here at 9:45. I'm not going to be here for Canada GDP. There is no trade room. I sent an email. You'll get an email with the schedule. But I'm going to come 15 minutes early to watch new home sales. All right? Brian, we got to send him an email. I think he's lying. I think he's just not telling the truth. I don't know what the problem. I don't know. Doesn't work. It does not seem to work. It still does not seem to work. I don't know what the problem is. Now the trade is negative. All right. So I'll see everybody at 9. I'll be here at 9:45 tomorrow. All right, folks? So I'll see everybody in the morning. Good night. Good night, folks.